Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, and something we get asked a lot is why in the world do I have such a mess on the back of my embroidery design? So I kind of want to talk to those of you with embroidery machines that have the cutting mechanism, and it cuts between every single stitch jump or from a letter to letter, and so that's actually what is happening. So this is a recipe towel, the new Happy Hour collection from Scissor Tail Stitches, and here is a Mai Tai recipe, super cute. I love doing recipe towels. They are so nice. This one was the Pina Colada, and there's a whole bunch more. So when you're working on something like this, where you are going to see the back of the design, a tea towel is something you're going to see both sides. You probably want the front to look as good as the back, or the back to look as good as the front. So when you have your thread cutter on, this is usually on Husqvarna Viking and Pfaff embroidery machines. So if you haven't seen this mess, don't worry about it. Now, I love the fact that my machine cuts between every jump stitch, but I always take a look at how my project is going to be used. So if it is going to be seen on both sides, there's a time and place to actually turn off that feature. So instead of it cutting after every single one of those letters, pulling the threads to the back and chopping it off, that's the tail. That's what's creating kind of the jumbled mess of those threads on the back of the project. So there's nothing wrong with your machine at all. There's nothing wrong with the thread cutter. It's just it's doing so many cuts that it's not going to look good. So when you do turn off the thread cutter, the back of your embroidery is going to look really, really good. Now here is a little extra tip here, is that sometimes when I use black thread and white bobbin thread on lots of little tiny stitches, it sometimes wants to pull to the front. You know what the trick is? Use black bobbin thread. That's why you're seeing a little bit more black on this side. Now we did leave the white bobbin thread in when we did the rest of the design, but it is actually a great way to stitch it. I love using water-soluble stabilizer in and on the back of my hoop. I always hoop up 2 layers of the aqua mesh type stabilizer with my project, and I do like a little bit of the water-soluble film on top. That helps keep your embroidery just a little bit more raised out of the weave of the towels. Speaking of towels, don't forget, a little pre-wash of your towels are going to make it look really nice and not shrink up after that first washing. Now, of course, once you turn off your thread cutter, you're going to wonder why it's not cutting on your next design. So don't forget to turn it back on when you're done. So this is your helpful tip for the week. Thank you so much. Check out our website, sewingmastery.com, and check out our Stitching Cosmos online course, which are some of the quilts behind me, as well as our Embroidery Essentials online course if you want to help master your machine even more this year.